All right, people, here we go. Here we motherfucking go. Talking Texans time. The game just ended a couple of seconds ago, and the Texans couldn't pull it out. They could not pull it out. I want to be disappointed, but you going through this shit again where I'm like, you gotta score touchdowns, man. You can't go into these other people's stadiums and into these games in general. These goddamn AC off me, freeze my ass off, and just start kicking long ass field goals and shit. You can't fucking win games like that. You just can't. You gotta put the ball in the end zone, and I don't know, man. I'm thinking that it's gonna have to just be some growing pains with this offense until everything gets settled, because shit just keep happening. You know what I'm saying? Shit just keep happening. You know, you had to swap up the line before the goddamn you had to shift the offensive line around before the goddamn game, because motherfuckers pulling up lame at the last goddamn minute. Then having to swap the shit up, having to swap the offensive line up again during the game. And, you know, we not just talking about, you know, somebody go down. Now you gotta flip-flop this, that, and the other. I mean, and you just gotta sub in the second man. No, one man go down on offensive line. Now you gotta flip-flop, motherfuckers. You gotta make 3 moves instead of 1. You had to go back to original offensive line that you was working with at the start of training camp. Didn't have to go all the way back to that at the start of the game because you goddamn tackle hurt his fucking who got hurt? I don't goddamn remember. But yeah, that didn't seem to change anything though. Then your center go down. You lose your fucking starting center. He get carted off the goddamn he get carted back to the damn locker room. So you know he was out. So we got the number 2 guy in there, Patterson, which I don't know the difference between the 2 centers or whatnot. No way. I think Patterson played center a bunch last year, and I didn't notice no problems with him. So, but you had to deal with that shit, and even with all that shit happening on the offensive line, it didn't seem to change anything. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it really didn't. It didn't seem to change anything. I'm just gonna have to. I can't. I want to bitch about stuff, but I'm like, can't you really bitch about stuff? You playing in LA, and you playing a good football team. You know what I'm saying? It's not like we was playing against some barely 500 ass team that wasn't in the playoffs last year or some shit like that. You know, it's just like Rams turned out to be pretty good last year. You know what I'm saying? They did. I'm like, the Rams turned out to be pretty good last year. And that's all I can say. That's all I can say. And but the offense, we got into that whole thing again where the offense just can't fucking pull it through. And it's not like the offense wasn't moving the ball. It wasn't even that shit. It wasn't even that stuff from like last year where the offense just looked stupid. The shit just looked stupid. You know what I'm saying? Because you gonna have some stall drives. You gonna have 3 and outs and shit like that throughout the game. The offense seemed to be moving the ball just goddamn fine. It's just when it counts, man. Oh man, I just sat here and watched this whole goddamn game, and I'm still just why? The only thing that really pissed me off, well, other than that fumble at the end of the game that sealed it from Agumbawale, and I ain't gonna never be a Agumbawale fan. I'm like, if you got that man on the team as a special teams player, leave his ass on special teams. You know what I'm saying? Agumbawale can't do nothing none of your other running backs can't do. You know what I'm saying? He can't, whatever you got Agumbawale out there doing on offense, you got a running back on your team that can do that already. You know what I'm saying? It's a reason why you don't really give him the goddamn ball, even though they did give him some carry. But that ain't why he here. I think that's just for me being watching the Texans all these years, and I'm just sick of seeing Agumbawale. I just am. I'm like, that motherfucker's still on the goddamn team. Shit. And then when he had that one play, he went out of bounds, and I was like, okay, well, all right, well, if he gonna do that shit, then okay. I was literally thinking that, you know what I'm saying? Because every time I see number 33 on the field, I get sick to my stomach. And then they gave him the ball again, and he had the little yards, and I was like, all right. And then it was like, boop, that ball popped out. I was like, see? I'm like, see? Don't put the ball in this motherfucker's hand. Everybody want to talk about how reliable he is. And the dude mentioned it's like, yeah, this is only his second lost fumble of his whole career. And he been in the league for 9 years. Yeah. That's only his second lost fumble in his whole goddamn career. Well, that's fine, but that's misleading, because in this whole goddamn career, how many times have he had the goddamn ball in his hands? Not goddamn many. Cut that ratio down by a goddamn lot. Ugh. But the Texans had their chances to take this game, and they just wasn't able to fucking do it. They just had to score a touchdown. Like, what was I getting ready to say? The one thing that one drive that pissed me off. I don't even remember. It was early in the game where they ran the ball like 4 times in the goddamn row, and I'm just like, you just not even gonna try to score a touchdown, huh? You know what I'm saying? Where they went for it on 4th down and got it, and they still end up having to kick a fucking field goal. And I'm just like, you're just not gonna try at all. That's. And from what I can tell, did they even have any challenges toward the end zone? I can't even remember. The game just went off literally less than 10 minutes ago, and I cannot remember if they had any challenges toward the goddamn end zone. I think they had 3 long-ass field goals. That's it. I think one time they did get down there, I think the CJ got sacked or some shit, lost like 13 yards or some shit like that. It just, man. It's gonna be some growing pain, and I have to stick with my theory. When everybody be talking about all these good teams and who's gonna be good, who's gonna be bad, we ain't gonna know that until about a month into the season. We're not gonna know that until about a month into the season, where everybody then got a chance to play a few of the other teams, and then you can get a good grasp on what's going on as far as the win-loss meaning something, letting you know who's good, who's bad, and all this other shit. The Texans can't really go by this game. You know what I'm saying? And I have to temper my expectations quite a bit, because I'm just like, I would like for the Texans just come out here. Oh, they got this new offense. They got these little players and blah 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 blah. And just like think they just gonna come out here and bloop 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 bloop. Because I still saw some of the same shit. While the offense itself still had a little bloop bloop little zip to it, as far as getting rid of the ball and all kind of stuff like that. It was a nice little stretch in there where I started to get Bobby Slowick flashbacks, where I'm sitting there and I'm like, man, why do CJ still got the ball in his hand? Why? Because it's obvious on some of the plays, because he probably won't even step back at nothing at all. He'll get the ball, bloop, and won't even step anywhere. It's just like, get it, bam, get it, bam. Then sometimes he'll get it, bop, 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 drop back a couple more steps, and then it's like, hey, waiting for some shit to develop up the goddamn field. And we had a stretch of plays like that, and I'm just like, okay, this is the shit that got us in trouble last year. These long ass dropbacks. You know what I'm saying? We getting these long ass dropbacks. I'm like, if I'm gonna see this motherfucker dropping back like that, when he let the ball loose, I want to see that bitch go up the fucking field. I don't want to see my motherfucker drop back, hold the ball for 1, 2, 3, and then throw the ball to a motherfucker behind the line of scrimmage and shit like that. And I'm like, nah. Because I'm like, we got Nico Collins. We got goddamn Jaden Higgins. We got these big ass goddamn receivers. You supposed to be able to work the goddamn sidelines and shit like that. Why the fuck ain't we doing that? Because sometimes I'm like, okay, we got this motherfucker, Nick Haley. He come from that system out there. Not that he running the same system, but he come from that system out there. And I'm like, oh, it's just like, how the fuck is Puka, god damn it, Puka Nakua, man, lit their ass up. I'm like, why is this man always open? Why is he always open? And it was like that most of the time when Stafford threw the ball, and I'm just like, what the fuck, man? And I kind of hate that, because they be talking about the defense. I'm like, why do these motherfuckers keep catching the goddamn ball? Why is he always open? That always gets me. I'm like, why is this motherfucker always open? Y'all gotta excuse me for a second. I'm thirsty, so I'm eating the hell out these goddamn grapes so I don't get nothing to drink. Why are they fucking open? You know what I'm saying? They got the offense set up where these slot motherfuckers can come off the ball unchecked and just roam around in the middle of the goddamn field and catch the goddamn ball for 8-9 yards and shit. I'm just like, what the I mean, consistently, I'm just like, man, what the fuck is going on with this shit? get motherfuckers in there around the fucking the linebackers and wherever Petrie is on the field. I don't even know if I heard Petrie's name this game. What did Petrie do this game? Absolutely goddamn nothing. Nothing. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have an impact on this game really at all. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that he was getting burned and smoked and all this other shit, but I'm just like, when it comes to the lack of hearing motherfuckers' names while I'm watching the broadcast and shit like that, 'cause that's usually how you figure out if people doing shit. You hear their name. I only heard Petrie name one goddamn time on it. He just happened to be next to a goddamn receiver on the incomplete pass or out route towards the sideline. It was an incomplete pass, and he didn't really have much to do with that being an incomplete pass. It just happened to be the dude he was on. Man, it's just like I said, I want to be mad, but I'm just like, no, it's I didn't really see them as a big underdog in this game, even though they were favored to lose that. They just showed they goddamn fumble again. Goddamn. They were favored to lose. Well, I guess that's the correct term. But god damn it, man. I want them to do better. But it all falls on this. Like I say, it's going to be growing pains with this offense because our offense, just like last year, and I don't want to make excuses and no shit like that, but offensive line was kind of poopy. I think the run game did what it was supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? I think the run game did what it was supposed to do. As far as the plays they were calling and stuff like that, they wasn't trying to overdo the running game and stuff like that. They were playing from behind a little bit, you know, for the second half. But the run game looked like it would do what it's supposed to do. 3-4 yards a carry. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. It wasn't a whole bunch of negative carries and shit like that. And they split. I think they did a good job of splitting up the carries and shit like that. I think Nick Chubb got most of the carries, but you had Pierce in there, you had Marks in there, and like I said, Goomba Wally got a couple carries. So all the running backs got carries. I think Marks and Pierce, they got carries too. The two carries that I know Pierce got a couple carries, then he got tripped up on one of his carries, and I'm just like, right. Woody Marks tripped up on one of his in the backfield on one of his carries. He tripped over his own little feet, and Turf Monster got him. And I'm just like, man, come on, just you finally get in the goddamn game and you're tripping. You know what I'm saying? You're tripping. Pierce didn't do much, but from the plays I seen, he wasn't gonna do much anyway. It's like that, you know. And those running backs that only get 2-3 carries a game, those 2-3 carries usually right into a fucking wall. You know what I'm saying? And since your main number one running back get most of the carries, when there is a hole opened up or something like that, he just happens to be the one in the game when a hole opened up and shit like that. But everybody else in the, you know, just got to do some opportunistic ass shit and hope you get lucky to get a hole when you're in the goddamn game. But overall, I think the run game did what it was supposed to do. Ain't nobody break off no, 20-yard runs and no shit like that. And you like to see it. You don't want to see it against you, but you like to see it. Boom, 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 pop, pop. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just like, you have to realize who you playing against. Like I say, that's why I'm so torn right now, because I have to keep telling myself, Rams, this is not no pushover team. This was a team in the championship game last year, in the NFC. They was in the championship game. They were in the championship game. I have to keep telling myself they was in the championship game. You know what I'm saying? Texas ain't even been that far in the AFC, so that's all I got, man. Growing pains. The Texans gonna have to deal with some stuff for probably the next few weeks, until they get. You got to get your supposedly one of your starting receivers back in Christian Kirk. Tell him when that's gonna be. So you got to get that motherfucker back. Is he gonna? I don't know if he gonna be any better than whoever they had out there today. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it would have made no difference if Christian Kirk was out there or not. But just for continuity's sake, you want the people that you had slotted to start out there. So at least you 100% or close to 100% to your starting lineup as you can be. But because like Jalen Noel, did I hear Jalen Noel? I think I had one catch or some shit like that. I don't know. I thought I was gonna hear his name a little bit more, but nope. I was like, I mean, now Watson, they had Watson out there. I think I seen him with a couple of catches, and I knew he drew a holding penalty on one play, blah blah blah. Even Nico Collins was light. You know what I'm saying? The tight ends got a bit of action today. Yeah, they got a few targets today. Shit. Fucking what's his name? Dalton Schultz had a handful of catches. Stuff like that. Even that one catch that didn't count was pretty damn good. And that's one of the plays that screwed us too. Actually, it's a couple of. Now the first big play that screwed us when I was talking about the offensive line getting shuffled up and shit like that, and we had to put. That's when our left tackle went down for a little bit, and they had to move Ursery back over the left tackle, and they stuck funky ass Fisher in there, and he proceeds to kill a goddamn drive and get a goddamn holding penalty. Now, if you're gonna get a holding penalty, I think he had that Jared Verse guy was on him, and he ended up getting a fucking holding penalty. That stupid ass bull. He got that stupid ass bull rush that Jared Verse got. That everybody keeps showing every time they show. Jared Verse just get up on a motherfucker and just go. He got some of that. He got some of that shit. He was all up in goddamn Jared Verse's face and face mask and shit with his hands. And he got up in there, and I'm just like, you got in the game and immediately, that was the first goddamn play, man. That was the first play. You get in there and get a fucking holding penalty. They get a big ass play called back. Like, that's why your ass is third string. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally, that's why your ass is third string. God damn it, man. shit. You be wanting people to get. You be hoping that you just got it to where your team is just like next man up, the next man up. The sub come in there, and you don't hear nothing from them. That's what you want. Your sub come in there and you don't hear nothing from them. You don't want to sub a motherfucker in there, and the first goddamn play he in there, he get a goddamn holding penalty and get one of your biggest plays of the game called back. They don't want that. We got that call that fucked us over, and right even before then, we had a nice play that get called back. And I think it was from the same a holding call on the Jared Verse, but on the other side of the line with our starting left tackle, whoever the fuck it is. I can't remember all these goddamn people's names. But that was a fucked up call. That was a bad call. I was gonna get mad. I'm like, God damn, the game just started. Y'all fucking up already. And then they showed the holding penalty, and I mean, look, if you blocking the motherfucker and he fall on the goddamn ground in front of you, goddamn, what? You call a fucking holding penalty. I saw that. I was like, that's a fucked up call. No, you know what I'm saying? You just have to kind of throw it. That's a bad call. That's gonna fucking happen. And you know, when it come to bad calls, you know what I'm saying, I don't really lose my lid or no shit like that. Cause I'm like, that shit gonna happen on the other side of the goddamn ball. The shit happens. You know what I'm saying? It usually happens a couple times of the game. A couple times a game. Where your team would be a beneficiary of some phantom hold or some weird ass shit. Like the Texans got Henry Tortora. They picked up a flag where they had him for either holding or pass interference or some shit like that. They picked up the goddamn flag and they showed the goddamn replay. He had that hand all on this goddamn dude around his whole waist and shit. I'm like, I don't know, man. I done seen some plays a lot closer than that get called. But they picked the flag up and I'm okay, whatever. That shit happened in the middle of the game. Let some shit like that happen. You know, at the end of the fucking, towards the end of the fucking fourth quarter. And then we got a whole nother goddamn conversation on our hands here. CJ didn't look bad. He was able to move around, take off when he needed to take off. You know what I'm saying? Wasn't no scramble king or nothing like that, but when the opportunity came, bring your ass out there. Slide, get out of bounds, take them little yards that they give you, and that helps a lot. It really does. It helps the offense a lot. It keeps you out of them stupid ass, ridiculous ass down and distances that you usually see the Texans in, like they were in last year. You know, second and third and super long. Even though they did end up in some of those. You know, you're gonna end up in some of those per a few per game. But it ain't like on every drive like it was last year. It's just like every drive is fucking second and 15 and third and 13 and all kind of shit like that. Every fucking drive. Like shit. But, you know, they get back there. I think I don't know how many times he got sacked. Was it twice? Or something? I don't know. I don't know. I think I remember one sack. It might have been another one, but it's one of them things where it's just like, you know, it's gonna happen. You play against certain people, shit gonna happen. And just like with the Texans, you know what I'm saying? Even with the Texans, I'm just like, and the Texans, the funny thing about the Texans defense, they get their sacks right when I'm like, they ain't doing shit. You know what I'm saying? Right when I say they ain't doing shit, something happened. Because I'm just like, because you watch other teams get after your quarterback, right? You know, like your quarterback is always like, oh shit, they always on his ass and stuff like that. And you watch the Texans, and like Matthew Stafford doing today, he was lighting their ass up, blap, 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 blap. He was just diming their ass up all over the goddamn place. Now they got to him, but sometimes it just seems like when they diming your ass up like that, those sacks seem few and far between. I don't give a damn if you get 20 sacks. If they diming your ass up in between them goddamn sacks, I'll move up and down the damn field. Those sacks don't seem like they coming fast enough. Now I think how many sacks did the Texans get today? 3? Or something like that? I don't know. I'm just trying to call it off the top of my goddamn head. I know I can remember 2. I might maybe 3. No, yeah, I do remember 3, but I know Anderson had 2 and Fadakasi had 1. Because they had that one sack on that fucked up ass snap that Stafford had. So I know that's at least 3. But you be waiting on those. You're like, man, just come on, get to him, and it's just like it don't happen. It just don't seem like it happens often enough. Be expecting video game shit. Just come on, just Tecmo Bowl his ass. Just get your ass out of there. And then it's whatever, man. Like I said, it's growing pains. It's growing pains, and the defense does what it did. It got a turnover. Like I was like, man, the Texans ain't even getting no turnovers this game. Texans need a turnover. Bam, they got a turnover. Well, we end up fumbling that bitch right back to them. So much for that. But they got it. You know what I'm saying? They got it. So I'm like, okay, that's the defense does what it needs to do. You know, the defense does what it needs to do. So I can't even get mad at the defense in this game because the offense needs to do a whole lot more than score 3 fucking goddamn field goals. You got to score more than 9 goddamn points. You know what I'm saying? You got to score more than 9 damn points. You got to be able to scrounge up more than 9 goddamn points. You do. And like I say, I'm not going to get mad at the Texans this game because they were playing the Los Angeles Rams, which is a good goddamn football team. And they're great, but they good. They like the Texans are right here, and the Rams are like right here. You know what I'm saying? Because they got continuity on their side right now. You know what I'm saying? If the Texans was at 100% and had all they P's and Q's all they T's crossed and they I's dotted, then I will put them straight even like that. The Texans and the Rams, I will put them straight even in the rankings and all this other kind of stuff. I would. But the Texans aren't right there. They right here right now because, like they say, they still got some implementation that they got to do with their offense and some solidification that's got to go on with the offensive line and dealing with injuries and shit like that. And that's going to always be the case to some goddamn degree. But when you shuffling through your offense during the goddamn game, like before the game and during the goddamn game, you had a starter go down, then you got, and like I said, you gotta do a whole shuffle. You're not just subbing one goddamn player. You gotta move a motherfucker into that spot, then move a motherfucker over to take that spot, and then you gotta stick a motherfucker to replace a motherfucker that replaced the motherfucker. Yeah. So, yeah, the Texans got some work to do on the offense, and I'll be able to listen to some of the talking heads a little bit later this evening to see what their opinions is. I like to do this stuff before I hear any of this shit on the goddamn TV. So I like to be able to watch that stuff and hear a lot of the stuff that I done said. That at least let me know that I have some goddamn football IQ, even though I can't articulate shit worth a goddamn. At least I know. I'm like, you know what? I said the same thing I saw. Motherfuckers be having insight to shit that I don't be having insight to, as far as, some of the football stuff that be going on and all kind of stuff like that. But as far as watching the goddamn game, it's just like, yeah, that's what I saw. You know what I'm saying? That's what I saw. So I'm looking forward to that. I don't know who played tonight though. I guess around whatever. I don't know. I'll catch the Sunday night game, which I'll probably end up falling asleep during. But I'm gonna catch some of the Sunday night game. I'm gonna try. I watched the which game? I watched the Jets and the Steelers today. Fell asleep on that. I fell asleep on all the good parts of the Jets and the fucking Steelers. The Jets and Steelers. Yeah, I watched the goddamn game, and then once it got towards the second half, I was laying here on the futon, and I slept through a big chunk of that goddamn game, and the Steelers was down. You know what I'm saying? The Jets was winning. So I was like, that's one of them games where I'm going for whoever got the ball. I just want the game to be exciting. And I fell asleep doing all the exciting shit. Because I ended up waking up. I woke up. The goddamn, the Jets were winning. And then I woke up and the Steelers had came back. And then I guess I fell back to sleep at some point because I watched a bunch of the goddamn game. This is fourth quarter shit now, and I think the Jets took the goddamn lead, and then the Steelers came back, and I slept through all the scoring shit, all the whatever the fuck was going on. But during that time, I was knocked out, and then when I woke up the second time, game was over. We got the broadcast people out here. They getting ready to show the Packers and the Lions. And I'm like, well, who the fuck won the game? I was like, and I looked at the goddamn score and I was like, goddamn, I missed like 20 goddamn points. What the fuck? I just slept through 20 points of the goddamn game. I'm like, if that shit was, if I was awake during that time, at least I probably would have been awake to, that would have caught my attention to keep me awake while watching the game. I was trying to watch the shit during the lull and shit and fell the fuck asleep and missed the most exciting part of the goddamn game. Whole point of me watching that shit. Fuck. Texans could have used some of that. They really could have. Anyway, that's my talking Texans for this week here. It ain't all doom and gloom. I'm not even on that. I'm not even on that right now. Like I said, it's if the Texans are still only scoring 9 points a game, going into about a month into the season, then we got some goddamn problems. You know what I'm saying? But until then, it is what it is. The Texans played a good team today. They lost, and I'm just gonna throw in the excuse that they was dealing with injuries and they wasn't 100% because legit they wasn't. They wasn't 100% going into the game, and there was even less than 100% during the game, and the offense still had a pretty good showing. You know what I'm saying? They still had a pretty good showing, taking that they were playing a good defense. So that's that. We're gonna see what they be able to get into next week.